we are literally starting from the bottom. Welcome to your first lower body fundamental session. My name is Lauren and I'm your trainer. In this video, I'm going to teach you essential squat positions, footwork, and the infamous hip hinge so that you can build strength with better form, avoid common mistakes, and feel in control of your body from the ground up. Once you learn these basics, everything becomes easier. So let's start with your feet. Your foot position and what you do with your ankle, your heel, and your toes in your shoe matters. Have you ever heard the term push through your heel or drive through your heel? The best way I can explain this is imagine your toes don't exist in your shoe. The heel and the ball of your foot is the driving force here. This demonstration is going to be very exaggerative. I'm lifting my toes all the way off the ground. You should make good practice at feeling the muscle that's being engaged in your movements when you're first learning them so that it can help you build that mind-muscle memory. In this case, when we push through our heels, we actually activate and engage more of our glute and our hamstring. So if you were to put your hand in the back of your hamstring right under the cusp of your booty, you driving with the heel and the ball of my foot, I can feel most of my activation that way. So there are three essential positions for a squat that you can do at home and also carry over into in-gym equipment like the leg press. They are narrow, neutral, and wide, or sumo squat. And they each serve their very own distinct purpose with lots of benefits. So let's go over them. First, the narrow squat, where your feet are essentially an inch or two apart. This I would only suggest you do if you're going to perform a goblet squat. First, if you're performing this at home, use your two light dumbbells, put your heel on the handles, and this is where you perform your goblet squat or narrow squat. This way engages a lot more of the quad and also really targets the glute. I think you get a better pump and more blood flow in this area. A goblet squat, if you're performing it with a weight, you want to keep the weight up high and tight and close to your chest. Reason being, if the weight is heavy enough and it gets away from my chest as I begin to sit down, I put strain on my lower back. I'm holding 20 pounds and leaning forward with that. That's not very stable. Keep the weight to your chest. You can do that by locking in your elbows around the weight, putting it right up to your chin. This forces you to keep the best posture and sit down. Sometimes I go down knee to elbow. However, it's not quite necessary. Performing a goblet squat, you never really need to go below 90 degrees. If you're unfamiliar with what 90 degrees may be like, imagine you're sitting in a chair. You just want the mid portion of your hamstring or the very tip of your glute to touch the chair. That's all. And in performing this movement, I get a lot more quad activation here. The goblet squat adds core and upper body stability to your leg movement. It creates a unique challenge. Because you're fighting to stay upright, the goblet squat is most effective if you care about isolating your quad, preparing yourself for movements like running, jumping, and climbing, and keeping healthy knees. Now let's talk about our neutral squat. To get in this position, really, just stand as you are. If you look down at your feet, they should be slightly wider than the distance of your hips. It's okay if your toes point slightly out, but don't make it too dramatic. Targets your quads, your glutes, hamstrings, and core evenly. This is an exercise that overly favors one muscle group to another, like with the goblet squat. Isn't it an exercise exercise, whether you're using your own body weight or a dumbbell, the neutral squat stance is perfect for progressive overload, meaning as time goes, I can add more and more weight and always be functionally sound. Now my personal favorite, the queen of glute and inner thigh engagement. To accomplish the sumo squat, you want your feet to be pointed out from the center line of your body at about a 45-degree angle. If you're unsure what a 45-degree angle will look like for your foot, put your heels together and imagine there's a slice of pizza between your heel and your toes. Take a big step out. That's your sumo squat position. Now, I cannot stress enough that your knees will follow where your toes are, or at least we hope so. I do squat positions strategically target muscles that are underutilized in other squat variations, making it a must-have for a well-rounded lower body routine and sculpted booty. I should do a few more too, huh? Do as I say, not as I do. So if you want to lift and shape your side glute, create a rounder booty, strengthen that inner thigh for stability, incorporate more sumo squats. Oh, another thing, because the sumo squat actually opens up the hip, you benefit from the increased range of motion here, making it a great exercise for folks who are sedentary at work and they sit long hours. Your hip flexor starts to tighten up. This is great to open that back. Making sumo squats can help balance out quad dominant training and improve your lateral mobility. Do not worry, mastering these variations of squat can take a little bit of time. But just by being mindful of these small cues in each position can get you a long way. One thing I see a lot is knee valgus, or in layman's terms, knees caving in when performing a squat. One thing, it's especially common for beginners who have weak glutes, tight hips, or poor motor control. If you are someone whose knees frequently cave in on load-bearing exercise, you need to invest in a few glute bands. I have a few colors and they all mean something different. For this brand that I have purchased, red is the toughest, green is medium, and yellow is the lightest. You can start with a light or medium band for this corrective exercise. What you'll do is step into the band and place it right above the knee. You will immediately feel your glute fire up. Rubber bands expand and they quickly snap back. So when you're engaged in the sumo squat position, this provides that extra emphasis for you to feel, oh no, my knees are caving in. I can feel it in my glute. You have to be intentional and mindful to push the knee outward. Fight the resistance of the band pulling you in. Use your hands and quickly grab the inner portion of your knee, push it out, and perform your squat. You have to now provide more emphasis and more tension on your hip flexors and on your glute to keep those knees from caving in. It will burn, but that's okay. Do this enough times as a corrective tool and you'll be right on your way. If you don't have access to a loop band, what you could do is put your hands on your knees and push them out and perform your squat here. If you don't, you can also perform this weighted for extra spice. When doing so, it's important to brace your core and to not round the back so that the weight can touch the ground. This is not a squat, that's something more like a RDL, but you would never round your lower back. You will hurt yourself. To perform a weighted sumo squat, round your shoulders back, chin to chest. The only thing you will do is squat, reach down with your hand. You will grab your weight, your chest is forward, and you're gonna push through those heels and come up. This is that side view. Got my weight. Push through your heel. Notice that my lower back is not rounded. Some folks do this. We don't want that. Round it up. Chin to chest. Got it? You can also perform clamps. This would require you to lay on your side and rotate the knee outward. You could also lay down and get very comfy. Keep the feet together. Lift the knee only. The yellow band is too light. Trade it in for a tougher one. You can also discussing hips. So stay with me. That hip hinge is kicking your butt. Specifically when you're called to perform a deadlift or an RDL. What you need to get a good grip on is the concept that your glute has a hand, and those hands have fingers. And these fingers are pointing to objects on the wall. Have you ever had a handful of bags, maybe from the grocery store, and the car door was open, and you just closed the door with your butt cheek? Yeah, same concept. In performing an RDL, you want your knees to be soft, not locked out. This actually really hurts. Soft knee, slight bend, maybe 2 to 3 degrees. Your core is engaged, it's upright, okay? Your shoulders are rounded back, your chin is now to your chest. Soft knee. My glutes have hands, my hands are reaching and grabbing for things in this back wall here. You're to feel the stretch from the back of your knee, sometimes your calf, but from the back of the knee, up through the glute, right to the top, almost. This is your RDL position. My back isn't rounded. I'm not excessively reaching for the ground with using the flexion of the spine. Okay? Everything is super tight. When you're performing an RDL with weight, typically you will feel the activation somewhere in the middle of your shin. Okay? You don't actually have to reach the ground. So again, round the shoulders back, chin to chest. I'm reaching with soft knees. And here, I already feel tension. To come back up, don't use your back, use your glutes. How? Imagine you ate Taco Bell for lunch and now you're 30 minutes in traffic on your way home. Those same muscle groups that you clenched your buttocks together with is what you're also squeezing to activate yourself in the RDL position and bring yourself back up. Squeeze, clench the buttocks. There's no benefit in you looking forward here. You're putting stress on your neck, actually, and on your spine. It's just overall not good. Try practicing looking in the direction that your body is moving. If I'm to continuously look forward while I do my RDL, I can feel right in the center of my shoulder blades some tension, and definitely at the base of my neck. That's why it's important for a majority of your moves to keep your chin to your chest. Look down. Feel the stretch. When you feel it, squeeze and come back up. Prolonged glitching in this position, to me, puts stress in my lower back. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest it. I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm saying meaning that for a beginner, let's get down the basics down pat and be the most efficient before we start introducing little tips and tricks to have continuous activation and prolong that burn of the muscle group. If squats build power, then walking lunges build control. Walking lunge is unique because it challenges each leg unilaterally. This movement combines strength, balance, stability, and mobility, making it one of the most effective at-home single leg exercises. Not only is it full body, but it's totally functional, mimicking how you move in your real life. So some key things I want you to take away from a walking lunge. Number one, this is not a field sobriety test. At no point in time should you be loading weight doing a walking lunge with your feet in a straight line. If someone were to come over to me and push me right now, I will immediately lose my balance because my feet are in a line, like walking a tightrope. Now, in your normal walking pattern, your feet have their own lane, so to say. So this is the width, more or less, that you want to be lunging in. You see my foot stance? I've got some power. If someone were to push me, this back leg, the quad, glute, and calf, and ankle are all loaded. It's all activated and ready to help me in any situation. If falling over, my heel goes down. There's so much that can happen with stability here. The most perfect way I can tell you to do a walking lunge is to imagine, will you marry me? I say that because you should get as close to a 90-degree angle between your front foot and your back foot. This front foot, this front leg, we're bearing all of our weight. We're pushing through our heel. Now, this is for demonstration purposes. When you're actually performing a walking lunge, you never want your knee to fully engage with the ground, nor do you want to get into the habit of slamming your knee. You will hurt yourself. So if this front foot is engaged with the heel and the ball of my foot, my toes are elevated in my shoes just a bit. This back foot is already loaded, okay? I'm here, I'm pushing up, and then as soon as I'm above 90 degrees, this back foot begins to propel me forward. How does that happen? Because it's already loaded in my natural walking position. This back, our front foot strikes, makes full contact, and our back foot, along with our Achilles and our calf muscle, is engaged, and it is propelling us forward. That's why it's important to not take too large of a step in your lunge, because by the time you come up, you have no spring action. You don't have that much power centralized in this back foot to propel you forward. Your stance is too wide. Nor do you want to make a habit of essentially kneeling your back knee in line with your heel. This is too narrow for me. Everyone's anatomy is a bit different. I'm just telling you the basics. This is too narrow because it presents a unique opportunity for my knee to be too far ahead of my toe. Then if you find yourself in this position, because you need to get up and then move forward, you may actually end up loading more of the weight onto the ball and on the toes of your foot. That's where you'll get this patellar tendon pain here at the bottom of the kneecap. If you find for front view, there's weight in my hand, I'm coming down, this feels good, natural. My feet are in their own individual plane. I come down, I load up through my heel, back foot has the power, it springs me forward, I step through, we're in our own lane. Come down, just a bit, hover. This back knee is hovering, it's never touching. Load it with the power, come up, propel forward. Side view. Come down, 90 degrees, here in the front, 90 degrees here in the back. Driving through the heel of the front foot. Back foot has the power. It's spring loaded. Down. You see the 90 degree in the front and the back. Drive through the heel, that's where the power is. Spring loaded back foot, propels me forward, and we walk. I'm not asking you to be perfect and master these movements overnight. It may take a couple weeks and it may take a couple of months. I know it's challenging. But as long as you're putting forth the effort and remembering certain cues, I promise you, every day will be better than the last. Your key takeaways for this video are your goblet squat. You're gonna elevate your heels to target more of the quad and keeping your core stable, and it's not necessary to break 90 degrees. Your neutral squat position mimics that of sitting down in a chair. Your feet are slightly wider than hip width apart, and you're engaging the core, quad, glute, and hamstring relatively evenly. Your sumo squat really gets that inner thigh, glute medius, and maximus. You want to be sure that you keep your knees tracking out, following the direction of your toes. And lastly, your RDL, chin to chest, shoulders rounded back. Your glute has a hand and it's pointing to the back wall in the room. When you feel the stretch in the hamstring and bottom glute, you've gone far enough. Clench your buttocks together to raise you back into your starting position of your RDL. Those are your lower body fundamentals. Oh, and I can't forget, driving through your heel means pretending like your toes don't exist and your power is rooted in the heel and ball of your foot. You should practice this. Get really good at it. And it may not be easy. It may not be tough. But as long as you're being intentional about the work that you're putting in for the results that you desire, everything will be okay. We're going for progress, not perfection. It may not. Click subscribe so that you never miss a video. Share this with a friend and leave a comment if something that I showed you today was beneficial. I'll see you at the next video where we're going over upper body fundamentals. And that's on being fit for life.